Welcome to WiredToHunt's Whitetail How-Tos, where we provide a step-by-step tutorial for one important deer hunting task. Today I want to talk about box blinds because they are all the rage. I mean, if you watch any hunting TV these days, a whole lot of folks hunt out of these almost exclusively. I don't know if I want to generalize too much, but some people get annoyed by the fact that they see box blinds so much on TV. But there is good reason for why they're used. So I want to talk through the pros and the cons of using something like this. When it comes to why so many people like these blinds, there's a few pretty obvious things. Number one, you have almost full concealment. You've got a whole lot of view that's covered up by those solid walls. The windows themselves are reflective. Compared to sitting in a tree, you can get away with a lot more movement. Number two, when you're in there, it holds in a certain degree of sound. So if you're in there talking to your son or your daughter or your friend, you can get away with that, and if those windows are closed, it holds in a lot of that sound. Number three, it's going to hold in scent. This is something that a lot of folks really like. You can really keep a lot of your scent neutralized, allowing you to get away with more than you might otherwise. That's a pretty big thing for a lot of folks, especially if you've got multiple people in there. Maybe that's, like I said, if you're in there with a family member, or for people that are filming their hunts, they've got a camera guy on with them. All that can be very, very helpful here. You can get away with moving, you can get away with some sound, you can get away with some scent. That gives you some advantages. Very, very comfortable. Right? I mean, you can sit in there in a nice comfortable chair. You can have a heater in there if it's freezing cold. If it's raining, snowy, windy, whatever it is, you can be out of the elements and still hunt. For that reason, they're great for kids. They're great for taking out a young person. They're great for taking out an older person who maybe doesn't want to sit out and be miserable all the time. They're great for gun hunting. You have those built-in gun rests all the way around you that make for great stable rests. I use a box blind sometimes for late season doe hunts because they're just easy and comfortable, and you've got a great perfect rest. There's a lot going for a box blind, and I can understand why people like them for that reason. On the flip side, there's a whole lot of things about box blinds that aren't necessarily going to help you out. So I mentioned how they hold in a certain amount of sound. Well, they can also create sound. Right? The ladders can creak and groan. If you knock your gun or your bow or anything against the walls or the windows, there's opportunities for echoing and a lot of noise if you don't really take care to silence those things in here. Compared to a tree, there's a lot of opportunity for introduced noise. That's something you got to keep in mind. A big thing with these that is a potential downfall is the fact that they are not mobile. Right? If I hunt in a tree stand, if I hunt in a saddle, if I do anything like that, I can very quickly adapt to changing conditions. I can set something up, find out it's not quite right, and make an adjustment very quickly to be in the new place. That's not the case with the box blind. The box blind, I think, brings with it a certain set of temptations. Because it's so comfortable, it can tempt you to hunt there when you really shouldn't. It can tempt you to hunt there because it's easy and comfortable when really you should be 50 yards further in or 100 yards further in. It can tempt you to hunt this location too often. If you do that, deer will quickly adjust what they do and move in different locations. Another thing to think about these is while they are comfortable, they are limiting. You might feel a certain claustrophobia inside of it. It can be hard to move around and position yourself for shots with the gun, especially with the bow. You can bow hunt out of these. I don't think this is a controversial thing to say. It is not nearly as versatile as being in a tree stand or a saddle. Just the different places you'll be able to draw back and shoot. If you try to do that in a box blind, you're standing up, you're moving, you're changing positions, you're moving seats. It's possible, but not necessarily preferable. These things aren't necessarily cheap. You can build them. There are hand-built ones on this property I'm on right now that are a little more affordable, but they bring with them a whole nother set of downsides, just quality-wise. Even the cheapest of manufactured box blinds are not terribly affordable. I think the final thing is it comes down to an experiential thing. Some people want to get in the box blind and they're fine with it and they feel great about it and it's fun. I think for me, while there are certain times when I like a box blind, most of the time I'd rather be in the elements, feeling the wind on my face, feeling the rain or the snow, smelling the leaves, experiencing, seeing, hearing it all, because that's why I like to hunt. I like to be in it. That's a possible downside if you feel the same way. Box blinds are certainly an option to consider, but remember they are not a surefire solution to everything. There are pros and there are cons. If you want more information like this, be sure to tune into the WiredToHunt podcast or the WiredToHunt Foundation's mini-series. We've got new deer hunting know-how every week. You can find it wherever you get your podcasts.